Welcome into Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with some of the top stories that we've been following, and new details have just now emerged in this devastating case. Of course, we're talking about Oscar winner Gene Hackman. It's officially been reported that him and his wife's death are now being investigated as suspicious after the door was found open and pills were found on the ground around the couple. To talk much more about this death and the devastating effects, I want to bring into the conversation now TMZ's Michael Babcock. Thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now. Again, terrible situation, but what more do we know about the deaths of this famed actor and his wife?
Hey, Christina, thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, it is a really strange situation. So here's what we know. Yesterday, around 2 p.m., a little bit before, there were two maintenance workers who were going over to Gene Hackman and his wife's home, his wife Betsy's home in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where they live. And when they get there, it's something just doesn't look right. And ultimately, you've got one of the maintenance workers who looks through a window and actually sees Betsy through one of the windows lying on the ground. And he immediately senses that something's wrong. So they quickly call the sheriff's department, who dispatches deputies out to the scene. Now, they make entry into the home and they find Betsy, who was in her 60s, on the floor of the bathroom, laying next to a kitchen counter. On the counter, or excuse me, the bathroom sink counter. On that sink counter is an opened bottle of pills. There's also a space heater that is right there in the proximity where Betsy was found. About 10 to 15 feet away, Christina, they find the couple's dog, a German Shepherd dog, also passed away. Now, in another room, as they continue to go through the house and clear the house, they find Gene Hackman on the ground, also deceased. And he had sunglasses next to him. And that might be important because it seems like something suddenly happened where perhaps he was about to walk outside, go out, and he immediately then goes to the floor and obviously never gets up. The initial thought, and I think a lot of people, fans had this, and so did the investigators and the family members, Christina, was that this could have been carbon monoxide poisoning, a gas leak. However, the authorities called the fire department and the gas company, and they did readings. There were no elevated carbon monoxide in the air. There was nothing to suggest that there was a gas leak in the area. So it could still be that because it seems like they had been deceased for a little bit of time, just by the state of the bodies. But at that moment, there were no indications of a gas leak. With all of these factors, police say this looks really suspicious here, and this warrants a thorough investigation.
It certainly does. And when we're talking about even what happened and how these bodies were discovered, the maintenance workers said they hadn't seen them for about a week or two. And they even found evidence that the body of his wife, she may have had some signs of mummification. That was a scary term, and it makes it seem like there is something more nefarious going on here.
Yeah, and certainly like they had been gone for a while, that they had been deceased for a while. I think a lot of people immediately said just because the dog also died, that they said surely this has to be a gas leak. But you've got to also realize that there were two other dogs on the property, Christina, that didn't die. And you say, okay, if there was a gas leak, then why would these two other dogs have been able to survive when it wasn't survivable for Gene, Betsy, and for the other German Shepherd? So a lot of these things here just don't make sense. I think that's really the way to say it. And they're going to do this autopsy and the toxicology, but that's going to take a while. You're looking at likely 4 to 6 weeks. So in all likelihood, we're not really going to have a definitive answer here in the near future.
And Michael, Gene was a phenomenal part of the film industry, leaving a legacy that so many actors and actresses are now pouring out their support and love for him. But he lived a relatively quiet life over the last few years there in New Mexico. I mean, $1 million home. He's a man who could have afforded like sprawling estate, I'm sure, in Beverly Hills, but choosing to go to Santa Fe instead. I think it sort of speaks to his character.
Yeah, I agree with you. The house was beautiful. It would probably cost $50 million in LA. So he got a really nice deal. But yeah, they were enjoying life. It was in the early 2000s that he decided to step away from acting and enjoy retirement and enjoy some of the spoils from his great work over the years. And I mean, you talk about a guy who was talented, whether it be the French Connection or the Superman films or Hoosiers. I mean, he was a part of so many great films. And we talked to the Hoosiers director a little earlier today and just said that, this guy was so wonderful on set and was such a talented actor. He's somebody who will be greatly missed.
Certainly will. And even Morgan Freeman, of course, another iconic actor, they're sending his regards on Twitter, saying that it was one of the personal highlights of his career to be able to work with Gene Hackman. And it's just hoping that the actor now rests in peace. So did want to bring this story to you all here on Live Now from Fox. Our thanks to our friend there, Michael Babcock with TMZ, to provide us those updates on the details. We appreciate you.
Thank you for anytime. Thanks for having me, Christina.
Thanks. All right, we did want to bring that story to you. And as you can see, those tributes still pouring in at this hour for Gene Hackman, of course, saying rest in peace. Many talking about the experiences they had as well with him. So many folks pouring in their support, including former Vice President Mike Pence, as well as several other actors there in the community. John Cusack also, again, talking about the love that they had for the Oscar-winning actor. Sad story, but we have gotten some updates as well in the last few hours. Let's listen into this press conference that was given today by the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office as they talk about the death of Gene Hackman and the ensuing investigation.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can have sustained this. And I'm sorry, what was Okay, so I think before we start recording and all that, I want to just say that we're obviously here for the EV kickoff and showing those off today. There has been some media that has asked if I will answer questions in reference to the Hackman investigation. I will do that as soon as we're completely done with questions about the EVs. That's fair enough. And so we can just transition into that afterwards. But just in all fairness, I just wanted that so we just don't get a question right off the bat when we're not done dealing with the electric vehicle issue. So I would appreciate that courtesy. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to announce an important step forward in our commitment to innovation, sustainability, and community-focused policing. Today, we unveil a pilot program to introduce electric vehicles to our fleet. It's a profound step towards modernizing our approach to law enforcement and embracing the future. Historically, law enforcement agencies have been at the forefront of adopting new technologies, from the introduction to two-way radios in the 1930s, to the implementation of dispatch systems in the 80s, and now, as we face new challenges, we would like to take this opportunity to assess the integration of electric vehicles into our fleet and embark on the next chapter in the ongoing evolution of the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. As an integral part of our community, is it essential that we lead by example and adopt eco-friendly practices. Electric vehicles offer numerous benefits. First and foremost, EVs contribute to environmental sustainability with zero tailpipe emissions, which will help reduce our carbon footprint, making our community a cleaner and healthier place to live. This electric vehicle pilot program aligns perfectly with Santa Fe County's Climate Action Plan.
All right, this is the earlier portion of that news conference. Before they get into more details on the death of the actor Gene Hackman, we have this segment also selected out where we can listen to specifically those Santa Fe officers responding to that. Let's listen in.
What's the latest on the investigation into the death of Gene Hackman and his wife?
We've struggled to release as much information as we can, as we have. There may be a press release that comes out this afternoon. The search warrant was executed just before 10 o'clock p.m. last night, and so they've been working diligently through the night and starting again in the morning to completely process the scene. And so we're still in the preliminary steps of the investigation. There's not a lot of new information that's available, but we will try to include that in our press release this afternoon as soon as the investigators hopefully are finished processing the scene.
Can you confirm if they have been deceased for a long period of time? I was told maybe a week or two.
You know, all I can say is they have been deceased for quite a while. You know, that's a determination that's better suited for OMI and the experts, but it sounds like they had been deceased for a while, and I don't want to take a guess in reference to how long that was.
Who found them? Was it these two maintenance workers, I believe?
So from what I understand, there was a gentleman that was doing some pest control work that had gone to the Hackman residence, and he noticed that they weren't home, which was odd, I guess, as far as he was concerned. He made contact with a security officer that was there, either patrolling or in the subdivision, and then it was a security officer that went to the house and had discovered the individuals in the home.
You guys are ruling out foul play, though.
We're not ruling it out. What I did state was there was no obvious sign or indication of a foul play. There was no immediate sign of foul play. Haven't ruled that out yet. This is an investigation, so we're keeping everything on the table. You know, I think the autopsy is going to tell us a lot, and any evidence that we collect, but I haven't ruled any of that out yet.
Can you talk about the carbon monoxide aspect? I know they tested for that.
Yeah, so, you know, obviously it's not, I wouldn't say odd, but it's not normal to find two people deceased in a residence. That's concerning. And then there was also a dog that was in a kennel that was also found deceased. We don't know the cause of that, obviously. But, you know, on our experience and working on cases like this, that is a possibility. Because of that, we called in the fire department, we called in P&M to go through the house, do some testing to figure out if it was even safe for our officers to go in and process the scene and execute the warrant. They stated that it was safe. You know, I don't have the details of exactly what they located or what they didn't locate. It was determined that it was safe. We had been going in and out of the house. I don't know if that affects, you know, if there was a concentration of any gas, including carbon monoxide. So, you know, that's yet to be determined.
What did it say to you that the front door was open when their bodies were discovered?
Yeah, they were home. So, you know, I don't know if that was, if it was left ajar. There was no indication of a struggle. There was no indication of anything that was missing from the home or disturbed. You know, that would be indication that there was a crime that had occurred. There was no indication of that. As far as, you know, there could be a multitude of reasons why the door was open.
Obviously a very high profile case. You're getting attention from all over the world. How does the department handle that?
The same way we handle every other case, with caution and with facts. You know, we want to make sure that we get the investigation completed properly, and we want to release the proper information, and sometimes that takes time. And so I just ask people that and in the media to be patient. We will release as much information as we can when the time is right and when they're factual.
So just to clarify again, right now you guys aren't leaning one way or another. The investigation is completely open to the cause of their deaths?
Yes, it is.
In your experience, Sheriff, have you ever come across something like this before in your county?
Me personally, there have been cases. We investigate deaths all the time. Some are natural causes, you know, some are criminal. And so, you know, we have a great investigative team, and I can guarantee you that they're going to work this case. They're going to look at every aspect and try to figure out the exact cause. And I think the autopsy is going to be key, and the toxicology. But again, in my experience, you know, that could take a while. And so I just ask that people be patient. You know, there's rumors and you know, and people, I think, coming to their own conclusions, and I just say, just wait for the facts.
There were 2 other dogs found at the home alive, correct?
Yes.
Where were they found?
Well, they had access to in and out of the house. Obviously, the door was open. I don't know, you know, again, the reason for that. I think there was a dog door where they had access to come in and out of the house, so they had access in the house. The other dog didn't. He was in a kennel or a crate, you know, however you want to explain that. But you know, it's concerning that everyone in the house, including the dog, is deceased.
Do you know the last time that anybody heard from Hackman or his wife?
We're still trying to make that determination.
The pills that were found next to his wife, those were prescribed to her?
I don't know that off the right now. I know that there was some pills that were located. I don't know. I won't comment on what they were exactly. That information will be passed to OMI, so that'll help them make the determination. And so I don't have the exact information on the pills right now.
Is there still an investigation going on at the scene?
Yes.
Any anticipation on how long that'll take?
However is necessary. However much time is necessary. We want to do a complete and thorough investigation. So thank you.
Anything else?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. All right.
All right, that was the update we got a bit earlier today from the Santa Fe officials there. Taking a live look right now. This is a shot that's outside of the home and community where the actor Gene Hackman lived alongside his wife. As you can see there, what we do know is that this investigation is still active and ongoing, but just devastating. Again, the Oscar winner actor was found dead Wednesday. This was in a mudroom while his 65-year-old wife was found in a bathroom next to a space heater. Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office detectives did write therein that official sheriff wrote warrant and affidavit that the death is now being investigated as suspicious. They did say, though, it is important to note that there was no indication that they had been shot or had any wounds. But again, with this active investigation ongoing, we'll continue to bring you those updates as they come in. All right, we are going to take this time to step away for our final two.